I believe we're going live. Just waiting for the page to update. And we're live. Good morning. I'm Matt. And grab yourself a drink because this is going to be a moderately long live session where we are going to be looking at literally over 100 RC models. Probably about 150 mark. Different RC models from FlyingWings to chuck gliders. Basically what we're going to do is go through all the cheaper models on Banggood, and I'm going to show you my view and reviews on the models which I've had or have either flown with you. And of course, remember, this is a live session. So up above my head, you can see the live chat which is going on with this live session. Is that what I would like for you, if you're watching this as live, is that please pass on your opinions with each of the models which we are going to be discussing. And also, that means also, if you're not on the live version, don't forget in the recorded version, in the comments section underneath this video, if a model comes up, do share your opinion on these different models, because I'm not a pro pilot. I'm just somebody who flies a lot and really enjoys this hobby. And I've kind of been through quite a few models as you're about to find out. So with that said, we are just focusing upon the Banggood site. There is a link in the video description so you can follow us along. Do note that prices do change over time as well. And yes, we should probably also do this for Hobby King as well, because funny enough, I've been through a collection of their models as well. So hi to everybody who's on the live version. Thank you, Bradley, for letting us know the audio is good too. So with that said, let's dive straight in. And do keep in the back of your mind, we are going to be going through a large collection of models. And all of these opinions are my own opinions based upon either fact, because I've owned them, or fact because I've been and flown them, or fact because I've rejected the model for whatever reason. So with that said, don't forget you can pass your opinions as we go along, and good morning to everybody who is on the live chat as well. So with that said, let's get straight in here. And again, you'll see that I've put myself off to one side, and I've made sure that your chat is much bigger than mine so that we can get to look at all these models which are on here. And there's lots and lots of models, and that's one of the biggest challenges which I found, is that there are so many models out there. We don't really know which ones are good ones and which ones are poo ones. And there is a phrase which is going to be mentioned. It's called POS. It will come up in about 5 minutes time, okay? And just for absolute clarity, that stands for piece of shit. There is a model which we're going to get to very shortly, and it is utter rubbish. So when you hear me say POS, that is slang for P or piece of, you know what I mean. So that said, let's get in here. Now, there are some toys in here in the beginning. So the first model and the next couple of models are just basically toys, so we're going to skip over them. But we are going to get stuck on this little chuck glider. And the reason why we're going to get stuck on this little chuck glider is because I've got a couple of them. Now, they've all come out the same mold. They get different names and brands on them. You can buy them from a collection of different places, not just Banggood, but although $7 is pretty much what I paid for it from GearBest a while ago. These are great for the kids. One of those is sat on my lawn right now, because I know when I drove home from flying yesterday, is that, oh, still got that left on the lawn. I need to go and move it, otherwise we're going to end up with a yellow patch on the lawn, because it's already been there for a couple of days. The kids fly these, absolutely brilliant. You do need to stick 2 1p pieces in the nose to get them to fly really well. I'm sure you'll play around with yours. And you can also convert these to, and again, let's get this up in a bigger picture so we can have a better look at it. You can also convert these to RC. I've been and done one myself. Absolutely brilliant fun. And that does actually remind me is that I'm going to start to mention to look back on my channel, or to do a search on the channel, or to find the playlist for a specific model, and you may not be able, may not know how to do that. So underneath this video where it says Matthew Ogborn, so number one, if you're not already subscribed, press the red button, but if you click on my name, Matt or Matthew Ogborn, you'll come across the YouTube channel. Now, there's two places which you want to look out for. The first one is the playlists. I've done my best to give each model like its own adventure playlist, so click on playlists. Or maybe click on the search icon here. Maybe it's like the S800, for example. Type your search in there, press enter, and you'll be able to search for the models. So for that little chuck glider, if you type in chuck glider, or if you type in the world's smallest UAV, which is what the plan was, is that you will be able to look that one up and to see what are the mods which I've done to mine. And like I said, I did convert it to RC and actually flew really, really well. And for $7, which I think is what I paid for mine ages and ages ago, absolutely brilliant. Totally impressed. And they're also great presents for kids as well. They are tough as old boots. My two girls have stuffed that thing in the ground far too many times for me to remember. So anyway, coming back onto the topic now, let's have a look at your chat. So rather than me trying to read above my head, let's have a quick look. Oh, geez, sick crow. Since my S800 went for a swim in the estuary, this is fortunate timing. Yes, absolutely. We are going to go through every single model up to a certain price point, and you'll find out what that price point is very shortly. So we've only got like one model in, Chuck Glider. They're really good. If you're looking for something to convert to RC and you don't want to spend a lot, two little 3.6 grams, a little 8 amp or 6 amp ESC, tiny little 1806, or not even 1306 motor on the front. Brilliant, absolute brilliant fun. I really enjoyed mine, and again, you can look that up on my YouTube channel for my previous experiences for those. So we're moving on from there. Toy. And again, I need to move this over so you can see what's going on. So toy. More toys. And then we get to the rainbow wing. Now, I haven't done, and I know, what's his face? Lee Schofield from Painless 360 has done a build and setup video for the little rainbow wing. I've got one of these, and they're absolutely brilliant. I must do a review on this, and I can tell you it's going to be a very positive review because it cost me $18, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's for $18. It's great. I really like it. Again, tiny little 2S, little 400 milliamp 2S battery pack on the nose. Tiny little motor on the front. Only flies in like a perfect flying day condition. So for me, perfect for flying at home. Out the front, really, really enjoyable. Very, very simple to build. Now, one thing which you do need to know about this model is that you will need an extra piece of 2mm carbon rod and to run that as far as you can across the back of this model here because it will crack on those on the joint. So where the elevon comes in and meets the back where the motor is, you do need a piece of carbon all the way in, ideally in the foam, all the way along the back edge to make it stiff because it will rip on the wing in a unscheduled landing. So yeah, $17.99, $18, 15 quid. Okay, absolute bargain. If I broke mine, I'd buy another one. I really do like it. It is pretty damn cool. Good morning, everybody, which is on. I've just seen Sir Bruce turn up as well. So good morning, Sir Bruce, as well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And by the way, do pass on your opinions. If you've got that little rainbow wing, or maybe you had that chuck glider which we were talking about, please do share your opinions so that it's not just my opinion, my thoughts. Do share your thoughts as well, because I would personally really value your feedback. And after this live session's over, I will go back and watch it myself to look out for your opinions and thoughts on these different models. And so from the live chat above, and of course remember you can leave that in the comments section underneath. Now, toy. The little Secura. Now, we did build that little Secura wing, and then I deemed it to be a complete pain in the ass, and frankly, a waste of money for $19. So, yes, I can't really recommend that little Secura. It did look good, but it's a pain in the rear to build, yeah, I never got around to flying it, and frankly, I stuck it in the bin. Oh, and it also didn't come with a motor mount, which is extremely frustrating. Moving on, now this little Black Spirit wing is exactly the same as this wing here. So these two, so that one there and that one there, they're both exactly the same models. I have one here, and to be brutally honest, I never just got around to finishing it. In short, it's still here, it's got a motor on the back, and I've never flown it. So I can't tell you how it flies, but I can tell you what other people have said on how well they do fly, which is that they are pretty damn good for $20. So you can either have the black EPP, which, by the way, I would normally suggest going for the black version, because black EPP, for some reason, tends to be stronger. It must be the dye which they put in with the foam. I personally suggest one. Again, it's a couple of dollars cheaper, $3 cheaper. I would go for that one. And again, apparently, in inverted commas, they fly really well. I've got one here. I've just never got round to finishing it off. So, moving on. So, there's 2 more reviews in one go. And now, the DW Hobby Wing. Now, I need to put my hand up immediately. There is only one model which I have had been sent for review as a freebie to me, and it was the DW Hobby Wing. And do note that I've actually owned 3 of them. I've owned the version 2, I've owned the version 1, and Banggood sent me one as well. So if there's any one biased review in amongst this, it would be this model here. Okay, absolute clarity on that one. That's a version 2. Now, that's the version 1. Now, the only difference between the version 1 and the version 2 is in the version 2 kit, they punch 2 little holes in the ailerons so that you can just push the control hole in. That's the only difference. It's not even worth saying it was a version 2. They might as well just updated it. Yeah. Anyway, that aside, absolutely fantastic on 2S. Okay. If you try and just go and get this open in a new tab so you can have a nose. And again, do look up the Rainbow Wing on the channel, and you'll find it on there. Is the Rainbow Wing absolutely brilliant on 2S, but if you try and overpower it on 3S or 4S or put a much more powerful motor on the back, the wings will flap. It's just not built for speed, okay? But it is really, really good fun to fly in the sky, and I've really enjoyed mine. In fact, I've still got 2 or... No, I've only got 2 up there. One of them I completely mullered. It's not even going to that. My favourite memory of flying the Rainbow Wing is that we were flying combat, and again, it's an old video on the YouTube channel. Just look up combat, and you may find it. It was me, Craig, and Dave, and we were having a full-on scrap, trying to trash each other's models in the sky. And we'd gone through. I'd hit Dave, I'd had a head-on collision with Craig, and totaled on his model, that's why that model broke now, there you go, just remembered. And Dave's reaction on the flight line was that was on 2S? So, yeah, I do like the Rainbow Wing, so that's the only model which I can say that I'm biased upon in any shape or form, because one of them was sent to me for review. That was the one which I then ended up totaling. 2S, absolutely great. It's a very simple wing, but it is very much more suited to calmer conditions and a very light setup. Don't try and overpower it. It is a complete waste of time trying to overpower it. So I'm just looking at your chat at the moment. Akoi says, bought a Rainbow Wing surface was rough, flies slow. Yes, again, I don't know if that was the small wing or the other one. Yes, any wire cuts EPP model will have a rough surface to it. And again, it's not going to be, either of those models, they're not going to be mental fast at all. I know my little 600 Rainbow Wing, which is definitely my favourite little wing of all time, kind of almost bonsai territory, but smaller than that, so it means I can fly it out the front. That's probably why I like it an awful lot, is that, yeah, it will have a rough surface and it will fly slow. Now, remember I mentioned that saying POS, piece of shit? That Batwing is definitely in this category. The reason why it falls into that category is because it came with no motor mount on the nose. So let's take a quick look at that. There was no motor mount for the nose. You're just supposed to just hot glue the motor straight on the front. And the motor broke on its maiden flight. By the way, it did appear to fly quite well. Did have promise, but then it went into the ground and the motor broke and part of the side broke off. So to be brutally honest with this, if you like this kind of model, save yourself $20, go across to, RC Groups, look up the build patterns for the same kind of model and build it out of some foam board instead. You'll probably have a much more enjoyable experience than wasting $20 on a POS like that. So yeah, a bit sad to say about that, and mine has been filed in the filing cabinet, which is aka bin. Let's have a quick look. And again, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the chat, which is going on in the background. Slipper says, bought the 800 Rainbow Wings. Elevens were so flexy, I had no control, crashed it and into bits in one turn. Ooh, ouch. Ouch, yeah. If I remember correctly, the seams, the hinges on the Rainbow Wing really did need flexing, and I did put a knife down the edge. Again, that's why I need to get a video out on that little 600 wing, because there's a couple of tips in that one which do need to get shared out with you. Right, moving on. Again, you could class that one as a toy. It's really meant as an indoor flyer. I actually bought that when it first came out, and it turns out it's got no motor, it's got no parts really per se. There's no instructions in it. Complete waste of $20. So that is going to get classed as a POS. Save yourself $20 on that one. The GB, that was sent to me, and I know a collection of other people had that model sent to them as well for being VIP people on Banggood. I built mine, never actually flew it, and I've actually thrown it in the bin since. So yeah, I couldn't suggest to you that you waste $20 on it, because I got mine for free and threw it in the bin, and no tears were lost, in short. The Super EZ Trainer is an utter piece of shit. There's no other words for it. I've got it here. I haven't flown it yet. And the reason why I can brand it is a POS is because this model is branded as a trainer. However, if you look closely in that image there, you'll see that it's got a plywood fuselage. Absolutely no good for a trainer, because we all know that as training and learning to fly, that you are going to stuff that model in the ground repetitively, and that model will not hold up to a single knock. So I'm afraid that is going into the POS pile, and as such I can't recommend it to you at all. So save yourself anywhere between $20 to $32 as well. And yeah, good morning, Van Gogh, as well. Good morning, Carlin. And again, I can see you chatting in the background here. So we are just getting through the cheap models to begin with. Toy, there's the Rainbow. That's the version 2. Remember, the only difference between version 1 and version 2 is they've got 2 holes in the elevons. So save yourself, if you wanted a Rainbow Wing, save yourself $2, $3, or however much it was. Pretty fair, it's more than that, wasn't it? Let's quickly scroll back. Yeah, save yourself an awful lot amount of dollars by just going for the original kit and just poking your own holes in the elevons. Really simple. Toy. Now, that's also classed as a toy, but I have seen one fly. It was very, very curious because it does flap like a real bird. Probably a curious kid's present, should I say. So if you've got a little one, you want something curious to grab their attention, that would definitely grab their attention. Now, the models like this little yellow one, so let me move this across, this one, and also the Fly Bear down here, and this red one as well. That I know they're all classic. We're going to bundle them into toys, but I do have the Fly Bear, what was it, the 818, and you can see it chucking it off, me chucking it off the top of the old house, off the roof. Brilliant fun. Really enjoyed it, but it is a perfect day flyer. It is more of a toy than anything. Would I buy another one? Probably not. But have I enjoyed my little FX 818? Absolutely. Look it up on the U-Balls channel, and you will see the fun which I've had with it. So these are all getting into toys. Definitely won't buy that. There's another little Rainbow Wing in there. Whatever. In short. Now this gets into potentially the worst wing ever made. And honestly, it is an utter piece of junk. So I'm just going to pause so you can see this. This wing is also available as a slope soaring wing on the Hobby King website, and do not waste your money on this wing. Okay, it's about the same price on the Hobby King website. It is utter shite. It's terrible. It's the worst wing which I've ever had. In fact, it's so bad, I made a video on it to explain to you every single flaw which that wing has with it. If you'd like to see it, it's on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to go into the details, but put it this way. Andrew, one of the guys which we fly with, he's had 4 of them. The 4th one I gave to him because I was pissed off of it. It was that or the bin, and I think he passed it on in the end. He's had several of them. None of them have flown straight. They are like the worst wing you could buy, you could ever buy, in short. So do take a close look at that. do not spend $29 on it. Buy any other model bar that wing, because it is that bad. So yeah, it's that bad. Like I said, I made a separate video on it just to point it out to you because it was that bad, right? Moving on, toy. This S-back. Now this is one of those. This model for me is like an awkward model as a reviewer to share with you, because I can say to you that you should go and buy this wing, this 3D model, and the reason why I can't say that you should go and buy it is because I know point blank one bad nose punt in the ground and that model is gone. Okay, completely, it will just mash up, it will be unrepairable, it will be a complete waste of money for you. Okay, I think it was at $36, $37. But on the other hand, I absolutely love it. In short, it's made out of 9mm EPP foam. I have been and put some strengthening on in it. Again, I probably need to do a review video on this wing model. If you're into flying 3D and you've got somewhere, again, if you've got a big haul to fly it, or you're prepared to wait for the like perfect flying days, or maybe you're up early and there's no wind around, absolutely enjoyable, goes exactly where you point it, and it's semi-robust to a point. I've nicked and knocked mine, but in the back of my head, I know that it's one of those models which I know on like one hand, I absolutely love it, and I would in fact, actually, screw it. I'm gonna make a point on this one. I'm gonna go and buy another one as a spare. So I've just opened that up and stuck on a separate tab. I would, if I break this one, I'd go and buy another one. I really enjoy flying it, but I can't like recommend it to you like for general consumption because it would just disintegrate if you stuffed it in. Okay, so if you're a 3D pilot, then, or if you want to get into 3D flying, then there's a much better model for you to get started with, which is called a Hummer 3D. You can buy that on Hobby King. It's basically the same amount of money, 30 quid, give or take a few pennies, and is much more robust. This is for definitely an intermediate pilot. Okay, so it's not a good first model for you to get into 3D flying with. That said, absolutely love mine. I've just opened that on a separate tab. I'm going to go and buy myself a second one because I really, again, I'd be pissed off if I break my original one. So yeah, $37. I hope that kind of makes sense. Now, ironically, that is right next to the Z84, potentially one of the world's best RC models ever made. And I genuinely mean that. If you have never owned a Z84, then you don't know what you're missing. This is a model which will fly fast, it will fly slow, it will slope, it will do crazy distances if you set it up to be light. It is excuse me, it is just one of the best all-round models ever made, and I genuinely mean that. The Z84, you can fly it on 2S, you can fly it on 3S. There's some videos on my channel that I've got. I had the world's fastest FlyingWings Z84 on 4S. Absolutely bonkers. And it was also the first model which I properly FPV'd. There's an FPV conversion, again, on the YouTube channel. Look it up. They're absolutely brilliant models. They are cheap. They are robust. I can't remember where I read this to now, but it's one of those models. You can stick a 2200 3S pack in it. Other people will go out there flying their models around line of sight, and they'll get like 5 to 8 minutes, and you'll get like 15 minutes out of a 2200 3S pack on it. It's absolutely bonkers. Brilliant little ones. Brilliant little models. I've had 4 of them. Okay, my excuse me. Still got a cold at the moment. My 4th one at the moment is set up as a long-range FPV model. So it's got an L9R in it. We've got a video transmitter in it, camera and stuff on there. iNav set up in there as well. Again, look that up on the YouTube channel. If you wanna see the Z84, just type in FlyingWings or Z84 back on that search box. back over on the YouTube channel. Just type in Wing Wing, and you'll find it. Absolutely stonking little models. Probably one of the best comments I've heard lately about the Z84 is from Dave, one of the guys which I fly with. He finally bought one. I think he picked up his for 25 quid off Hobby King, which obviously you need to add shipping and stuff in to it, but 25 quid off Hobby King, and he couldn't believe he'd never owned one before, and he absolutely loves it. The only negative which I can give you for the Z84 is that it's made out of EPO foam, and that means that it will break and it's not particularly robust. Okay, it will take a good couple of nose punts and you can wrap it around a tree and a bit of hot glue later, it will survive and go on to soldier on. But yeah, I think the only way which they could make, and this is the only thing which they could do to a Z84 to make a perfect model, absolutely perfect, is to make it out of molded EPP. If someone made that out of molded EPP, I would class that probably forever as being the best RC model ever made. It is that good. So if you've never owned a Z84, and again, those of you which have got an Z84, do let me know in the live chat what your opinion on this is. If you're watching a recorded version of this, let us know. If you own a Z84, please share your opinions. Is it at the same level or the same level which I'm giving it, which is that it is potentially one of the best RC models ever made, because it is so efficient, it's so versatile, and it's just bloody good fun to fly. So yeah, Z84, thumbs up. If you didn't guess that one, thumbs up on the Z84. Absolutely brilliant model. It does come in two different colour versions. Both of them you see particularly well in the sky. Moving on, not flown that one, will never buy that one, looks too flimsy for my flying. I did buy this one, I think it was, yeah, in fact I've bought both of these, that model and that model. Now, why have you not seen either of those models turn up or appear on videos, well, more than one video on my YouTube channel, is in short, both of them turned up broken. They are both made out of EPS, so to give you a heads up, there's like 3 kind of foams which you can have an RC model made of. Well, we're talking about foams, not balsa. So you can have EPO foam, which is like what the FlyingWings Z84 is made out of. Very light foam, roughly durable, will come back to its original shape if you put some hot water on it. Very simple to work with. Then you've got EPP, which is a much tougher foam, slightly heavier in most instances with the density on it, but extremely robust. And then the other type of foam which you have is called EPS foam, and it's a very, very tiny little bubble of foam and very brittle. And when it breaks, it's like polystyrene and it goes poof. And both of these models, excuse me, I've bought, and both of these models I've had full refunds from Banggood because both of them were both inadequately packaged and both turned up broken. But Banggood refunded me for both of them, and you can see the videos on those on YouTube. So that's page number 1. Hopefully we can pick up a bit of speed now and get through some more. So let me just move this again, trying to get this to sort correctly. Not bought one of these, elected not to buy one, and I swear blind, it's Daniel Knight from the Facebook group, the Lightning Wing, hated it, absolutely hated it. Said the wings were bent and he got a refund back from Banggood on it. And I'm also pretty sure, what's his name, Chris from iForce 2D, a fantastic YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure Chris has had one of those, tried setting it up as a slope model and really didn't get on with it either. Not bought one of those, and again, too toy-y for me. I don't really like the Cessna models. Talking about toy, actually, is that this is probably about the exception for the toys, is because the EPP Eagle. Now, I know some people have just not got on with this model at all, and I understand why they've not got on with theirs at all, which is that without ailerons, it's crap. Also, the manual is equally crap. Also, the firewall is also crap. In short, if you're prepared to do a little bit more work with this model, perhaps put some ailerons on there. And again, that's what I've been and done on mine. Again, I probably should do a review video on here of this model. And if you're prepared to put a proper balsa firewall in there and get the angle right on it, which is pretty much straight, by the way, is that it does fly really well. The kids, I know my kids think it's absolutely fantastic. It's one of their favorite ones. It is, and it does fly really, really well. If you stick an FPV camera up on the very top, don't do it on the nose, you put it on the top underneath the elastic bands. Absolutely brilliant. You can catch thermals in it all day long. Again, if you want something just to chill out with the goggles on, sit back, chill, EPP Eagle. In fact, the last time I flew it, I ran the battery flat and stuffed it in a hedge because I just had no control left over it. So there you go. I think that's probably one of the best things just I can say about that wing. I enjoyed it so much, I ran the battery flat in it, which is always a good sign, I feel. So let's have a quick look. Rob S says, EPS, yes, totally. Yeah, what century are you in? Yeah, both of those two models were made out of EPS foam. Absolute diabolical. iForce 2D, love your vids. Yeah, Bernie, I'm up there with you. Doing my best to watch each of those as well. EPP Eagle attracts the seagulls when it's in the air. Very strange. Yeah, also the EPP Eagle, there's an oddity, is that if you're flying above other birds, sorry, if you're flying above birds, they won't attack you. But if you fly below them, they will swoop at you. Very odd behaviour. Anyway, moving on. No. Oh, Black Wing. Now, that one has been recently featured on here. If you look this one up on the YouTube channel, I need to show you the state of this. So I need to go and find it a second. Because it has taken an absolute beating. There it is. And you wait till you see how well I've abused this thing. So that is the Eachine Blackwing. Just look at the state of it. I've lost the nose section. We've lost a wingtip. We've definitely lost a wingtip off that side. Part of the elevon is missing as well. The fin's not on there very well. It is actually broken at the moment as well, so it flexes. We've ripped a wing off it. I have, or should I say, we have absolutely categorically abused this wing. The last time I took it out and was flying it, I was launching it inverted, so just grabbing it inverted and launching it, which was good fun. Obviously, that resulted in a few unscheduled landings. And I just flew it continuously inverted and landed it lots, and it's still here in one piece. Unbelievable. This is probably one of the biggest testaments to black molded EPP foam on how tough it is. So do I feel that it's worth the $39 on there? Yeah, absolutely. It's got a bigger fuselage than the Z84. You can fit components in there much more easily. It's a very simple build, to say the least. The only thing bad which I can say about it is at the back, where they said they suggest an 1806 motor on the back, and that's absolute rubbish. You cannot put an 1806 motor on the back of this without using a stand like I've got on there. So that stand, I don't know if you can see that, those red bars. If you look up S800 motor mount or something like that on Banggood, it costs about $3 or $4, something like that. A couple of little things and an extra mounting block on there, and that does mean that you can get an 1806 or maybe a Turnigy D28, 26, 2200 kV motor on the back. So yeah, I like the Blackwing. It has taken some serious abuse, and yes, it'll buff out ish. I'll have to cover it in black fibre tape so it looks pretty once again, because the white tape looks like it really has seen better days. And look, in fact, I felt so guilty. I've had to, if I take that bit off, you will see how bad it is underneath there. Yeah, there's just like raw cut. That's definitely a flesh wound. There's just got carbon hanging out of it. Yeah, I like the Blackwing. It took an absolute beating. It did have a bit of waggle in it, but come on, we've piece is just falling off it. Does have a little bit of waggle in it, but to be fair, it's got I think the wingspan was smaller than the Z84, and yeah, that's to be expected. It's a tiny airframe, so any breath of air on it is going to kill it. So yeah, do I like it? Yeah, it's tough as old boots. It has proven itself after repeated abuses to keep on going. Yeah, it's only a scratch to say the least. No, it's not a cement mixer job, Rob. And by the way, those of you which know about bad models here, is that if it's really that bad, it will go into a cement mixer and we will set fire to it. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to that search box and type in cement mixer. Right, no, in short, toy again, balsa. I'm not likely to buy a wooden model. S800. That is a very, very good topic. It's a very topical topic right now because I've got a maiden video and a build video to come out for you later today. Is that the S800 is probably one of the best starter FPV flying wings out there. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've owned both of them. I've owned the black one, which is the version 1, and the black one, which and the grey one, which is the version 2. I've got that one right here, right now. It was here. In fact, it's over here to get mended. Someone broke it. Again, you can see that. You can kind of tell where this one's going to go because I've already got tape on the lid. But that's only because I was trying to cram so much in there. S800. Absolutely brilliant wings. They are the perfect FPV starter wing because they are tough as old boots. I wrapped my original one in round a tree. Now, I'll give you a heads up, and again, I'm sure some of you heard me mention this before, is that I was getting kind of bored with the standard reviews on models. And when I saw the S800 and when we did the unboxing, I kind of knew that it was going to be a really tough wing. So we got the maiden flight out of the way, so we had a nice maiden video. And then after that, the FPV maiden, I stuffed it in a tree. The second FPV flight, third FPV flight, we both hit dead man's arm 2 times, so I had to go off and get it. Got it on film, thankfully. Fourth flight was alright, and then the fifth flight, I probably didn't record, but I think it was about the 7th or 8th flight. James dared me to fly it between a gap at full knacker at the flying site, and I didn't. Well, I made it through once. Second time, I stuffed it in the tree at about 100 miles an hour. Literally, next day, it survived. There are bad points to this wing, okay? But the minor bad points far outweigh the good points, okay? So at slow speeds, it does have some waggle to it. You can overcome that with going onto Thingiverse, or you can either 3D print them out, or you can make them out yourself. You can make yourself some little things to vortex generators, which go along the leading edge of the wing. That will stop the waggle and improve its slow flying characteristics. What else is bad points? The push rods are crap. As you can see, I've reinforced mine with a bit of carbon fibre and a bit of heat shrink on there. Hinges aren't particularly good, and they've taken away that motor mount on the back. Again, let me just make a point. There's that motor mount on the back. Those red things to extend the motor out. The reason why you want to do that is that you get the motor out into cleaner air. It makes your model fly faster and also more efficient as well. And also, it's quieter. Big factor as well. Yeah, really like the S800. Fantastic first FPV wing. That's the one. When anybody says, Matt, I want to get into FPV, what wing would you suggest? S800 every day of the week, because I know that these things can take an absolute beating. You can stuff it in the ground 20 times on failed launches, and then on the 21st time, it will fly like a peach. So yeah, happy days. That's the version 2 which I've got there. The only difference between version 1 and version 2 is the foam. Okay, so what is the difference of $4? Well, it's only the foam. That's the only difference. Yes, they may have slightly recessed the battery bay a little bit for you, but for all intents and purposes, it's not a version 2. It's a version 1.2. Not a version 2 at all, because it is exactly the same model. Yeah, it's only minor stuff which they can improve on for this thing. So yeah, it's really up to you. If you're looking for a starting FPV wing, either. In short, one big note: do not buy the plug and play version. Everybody moans about the motor being crap, and the FPV camera is also equally as crap. So yeah, buy yourself a decent run cam to go on the nose and get yourself a decent motor. Basically any motor you stick on the back is going to be better than the stock one. 2205 motor of any shape or form will be fine. One of the quad racing ones around 2200, 2300 kV will be fine. I am using a D2826 motor, 2200 kV on the back of this one, mainly because my full intent and purposes for this one is to get it back 4S in it, and we will stuff it in a tree at a ton again, just to make the point that they fly really well and are super tough. So a quick, Gordon says, yes, I have iNav in my S800, so you can see above my head, and you can see so much chat going on on there about the S800. Yeah. It's a very, very popular model. It's definitely worth the $45. Keep that $45 in the back of your head. It's going to be extremely relevant for a later model. Okay, and the S800 compared to another model and $45, that is an extremely important point. We will get to that in a few moments' time. You can cram in iNav into that. I've seen many people do it. It is going to be a very much of a tight fit, to say the least. And I just need to pause for a moment. Excuse me. And you can see lots and lots of suggestions coming on motors. The 2306 motor would work great. Thank you for that, Sick. Again, if you own an S800, please do share your thoughts about the wing in the comments section underneath this video. If you're watching the recorded version, of course, if you're on live as well, you can let us know what you think about the wing. And again, this is great because everybody has their own opinions about these different models. I think it's from like a reviewer's point of view and also like a fellow modeler's point of view. I think it's great because I can say to anybody, go and fly that. They can smash it in a tree, and I know that worst case, a bit of hot glue later and it'll be up and flying again. Super tough models. Right, moving on. Balsa, whatever, I'm not playing that. Cloud Raptor. I'll be quick on this one. Absolutely amazed. It is a super, super light build. Again, this isn't an ideal first wing. This is more of a second or third wing. Very, very light wing. Again, I flew mine with only a 1.3 3S battery in the nose. Her actual maiden flight was done slope soaring, and it flew better without the motor on it because the propeller flew off during the maiden. Again, if you want to see the maiden on that one, it's on the YouTube channel. I really like it. Is it worth $50? We've just been chatting about the S800, which is the same kind of price. It's a different kind of model. The one negative which I would say about the Cloud Raptor is that you will want to laminate the wings on it to make them tougher, because it is a very, very low density EPP foam, which they've put a wrap around the outside. And the nose section is the toughest foam I have ever come across. I wish they made basically, if they made the Reptile S800 out of the foam which they made the nose out of the Cloud Raptor, you would be onto an absolutely an almost indestructible wing. Okay, unbelievable what they made that sensor section out of it. Really tough foam. I've not seen it used in any other model. Really tough, to say the least. Flies fantastically well. Brilliant. Like in the sky, absolutely really well. But I do class it as being overpriced, to be honest. I think $50 is too much. If that model came up on sale, or you had a discount code to take, for say, 15 or more % off, then, and you're looking for maybe a second or a third wing, that could be a good choice for you. Okay, and again, I've still got mine here. It hasn't gone on and found a new home. So we're chatting about the S800, the Sky Munter. Right, we're moving on to this one. This one definitely is worthy of just a special chat. I know some people don't like the Sky Munter. Some people complain that it's got waggle in it. I like Sky Munters. The Micro Sky Munter, I've got 4 of them. I've had 4 of them. I've got my little one down, which is still in my flight bag over there from yesterday. Absolute brilliant fun. Really like it. You can wrap it around a tree. It will come back. It's, how much have they got on here for now? Right now it's $50. Okay, give you a heads up. You can buy all the parts separately and still get it for cheaper than normally than the kit price. That's how I bought mine. I always wanted a Skymunter. I just didn't want to pay like back then it was like 60s to something like 70, 80, $90 for the kit, and I always refused to pay that much money for such a small model. And then they released the parts, and I bought the parts, and I bought the tail section, the booms, the wings, and the fuse section, and it works out to be about like 35 quid, I think, something like that. Absolutely brilliant. That's why I've had 4 of them. Brilliant little models. Really, really do like mine. And I also have Suicide Bunny. Now, if you would like to know how fast one of these models can go, look up Suicide Bunny on the YouTube channel, and you will see it go vroom and vroom vroom. Absolutely brilliant. The world's fastest Suicide Bunny, because I stuck a motor about that big on the back of it. Absolutely bonkers. Really do like the Skymunter. Again, not an ideal first model, to say the least. I've kind of now perfected the launch, which is that you need a strong, flat launch like that, and a really good, strong, and a moderate amount of throttle, maybe half throttle as well, obviously depending on the motor, and a real good, strong chuck on it. It will torque roll on you otherwise on launch. It does have 1 or 2 bad behaviours, like torque rolling and a little bit of waggle. But that said, I didn't pay $50 for mine, and I've bought 4 of them. I think they're absolutely brilliant. So a quick look at the chat which is going on here in the background. Nigel says, how do you arm iNav? I tried a NAS A32. Nigel, I would actually say that's probably the root of your problem. Just looking at the chat on there. Don't use a NAS A32 board with iNav. Spend the extra $15 and get yourself an F3 or an F4 board instead. iNav in the NAS A like platform itself, it's just missing out so many pieces. Just spend $15 and get yourself a decent board. Okay, so anyway, coming back onto the topic, no idea on that one, to say the least. Again, they're all getting toy-y and bolstery. Moving on, Ishin Fury. Okay, now this gets into a genre of flying wings. Now, as many of you know, that I am a massive flying wing fan, and there are a couple of models which I refuse to buy. And I did a separate video on this. It's called, if you look up on the YouTube channel, Matt, why do you not own a mini race wing? Because it's the same kind of format with the carbon fiber fuselage in the middle. Is that I just class them as a death trap. I will never own the Ishin Fury. I will never own the Tech 1 900. And there's 2 versions of that. I'm sure we'll get to those in a moment. And the same for the mini race wing. I just don't like the idea of the carbon fiber fuselage in the middle. One, from a safety point of view, and number 2 is that if you smash it in the ground, it breaks, then finding parts is going to be nigh on impossible. Again, that's the basic summary. See the other video for the full details on that. So no, I will never own one. I have heard though that they do fly very well. So if that's a model which does get your attention, then it's probably fine. Why would you pay $60 on a piece of foam board? No idea. Moving on. The Ultra Blaze. The reason why I never bought this one, and probably never will, is because of the sheer amount of foam which we can see back here. The amount of foam which is at the back of the model, it's going to be noisier than a Radjet, and a Radjet is loud. I expect that to also be loud as well. And I know you can set them up for EDFs, which just sap batteries. Yeah, not a model for me, and I just will never buy one. In short, I can't recommend to you that you buy one either. The C1 Chaser, absolutely fantastic flying wing. The C1 Chaser. That fills the gap between the Z84. Remember how highly I spoke of the Z84 earlier? The C1 Chaser, it fills the gap between the Z84, and it comes up quite a fair sight. I think it's about a 1.2 meter wingspan, and it fills the gap between the Z84 and then the Phantom FX61, which is the next 61, which is a 61-inch flying wing. It's huge, and again, there's a Buffalo which is bigger than that. We will see both of those models shortly. And the C1 Chaser came out by a different company, Zeta Science, who make the Z84, the FX61 and the FX79, the Buffalo and the Phantom wings, is that they missed a trick. They missed out this mid-range piece, and this company, I don't know who they are, made the kit for them. I think the C1 Chaser, absolutely brilliant. bigger fuse. It's EPO again. If you're a fan of the Z84, the C1 Chaser is a no-brainer. I definitely think it's worth $60 of anybody's money, to say the least. The only negative which I can give you about the C1 Chaser is the fact that it does need an awful lot of nose weight to get the CG to balance on it. That is the only negative which I can give you about that model. Besides that, it flies absolutely great. If you want something to fly line of sight, it's brilliant. If you want something to fly FPV, and I think the last flight which I had in mind with a 3300 4S pack was 29 minutes, give or take a minute or two, something like that. Did set mine up with iNav. Again, look it up on the YouTube channel. And again, yeah, 30-minute or so flight with it. Absolutely brilliant. Very, very efficient airframe, to say the least. Definitely worth $60 of anybody's money, in short. And again, if you want to see one Chaser, let us know in the chat. Of course, you can let us know in the comments section as well. So moving on. No, Balsa, I'm not going to buy that. The F-22. I own one of those. I haven't flown it in absolutely ages. And the reason why I've not flown it in absolutely ages is because it just eats batteries. I fly it with a 1.3 3S, 60 to 90C battery, and it is almost raped every single battery which I've put in it. Yeah, looks great, looks the part, sounds the part in the sky, but just eats batteries left, right and centre. And I know you can set it up as a pusher prop, but that would be louder than whatever metaphor you want to stick in. Yeah, just I wouldn't buy another one. It's sat up there on the shelf. It needs to find a new home. We're not talking about that toy. There's the black wing, which we've spoken about. The Delta Jet, I've actually got there here. So number one, I think it's a... So moving on to this Delta Jet, I do feel that it's a fantastically well-made kit. Okay, I really... the quality is in it to say that it's a quality kit. I don't think, personally speaking, it's worth $63. Okay, I don't think it's worth that, but it is an extremely well-made model, to say the least. The little caps which you can't see underneath the model, it's got lovely little servo mounting pieces on there. You've even got rudder on it as well. It does fly really well. If you're into EDFs, you might quite like it. The nose clicks off as well. It's held on with a magnet. I just feel that it's overpriced, to be brutally honest. And again, I need to get a review video out on that one. It's alright. But it's just too expensive for what it is. Okay, so I can't really recommend it to you. Moving on. Again, I'm just trying to keep this on one page. No. That's the Ranger, which look up Andrew Newton on the Ranger. I think that model was so bad, he took the wing off it and stuck it on another fuselage because it was that bad. I can't remember the full story, but look up Andrew Newton on YouTube. And yeah, I wouldn't pay $64 for it, to be brutally honest. Balsa, Sky Munter, which we've already spoken about. Dolphin Jet, which is very similar to the Hobby King one, which they had as well. Again, it's EDF. It's going to suck the power out of the battery left, right and centre. And again, yeah, we are up into the $60 models. This is where it gets starts getting kind of interesting now. Yeah, wouldn't ever own that. It's an EDF and it's more of a glider kind of thingy. I don't even think it knows what it wants to be, in short. So, no, would never own one. The Arcbird VTOL, we've spoken about this in an RC Coffee Chat, literally the day it came out, or the day after it came out. It was ridiculously priced. I think it really was $100, one of those strange times when the pricing is actually correct on Banggood. I think it really was $100. And I wouldn't buy it $100. I wouldn't even buy it at $66 either. Again, what's his Jeff from 7 Demo 7. I think he's done some work with his. I do like the idea of having motors on the front end of a wing. That's a very good idea. It would reduce the noise because you've got tractor motors rather than a pusher motor. So tractor motors are always quieter. So it does have some benefits, but the point being is that if we scroll down and look on there, there was a note in here that, yeah, this is a kit only, does not include any components, so that then you need to go and set up your flight controller. It doesn't include any of the Arcbird pieces which are key to making the model fly. So yeah, won't own ever one of those unless it turns up really cheap. And to be honest, I'd probably only be after it for the motor mounts on the front. So yeah, won't ever own. Z84, that's a plug and play kit. Sonic model, AR Stealth Wing. Now remember we were chatting about the Reptile S800 maybe 10 minutes ago or something like that. I've got one of these here, and do keep in the back of your mind that, on my previous note, remember I mentioned that it was, what do we call it, $45 for the S800. Now, there has been a pricing change on this, but it's still pretty close. So, 2 times 45 is $90, and then we've got an AR Stealth Wing right now. Okay, again, when I looked at this last time, it was more expensive, for $70. Okay, so my previous comparison was that you could have 2 S800 wings for 1 AR Stealth Wing, and was the AR Stealth Wing, was it twice the model of the S800, or is it 1.7 times the model of an S800? And the reality is no, it is not. Okay, it is definitely more expensive now. And it does also have some flaws with it. I've done, again, look up the AR Stealth Wing on the YouTube channel, and you will see there's a video on there, and I detail 11 things which I feel are not particularly great about this model. And again, there's other people which I saw someone's video and go, there was a guy there going, this is the best wing I've ever flown, and I'm actually going, nah, it's shit in its standard configuration because it waggles and wobbles like crazy at high speeds. And it also does have several other issues, like I've already, see the video and I detail each of them. So, that said, AR Stealth Wing. Who is the AR Stealth Wing designed for? In short, it is designed as a step up or the next model on for those of you which have got an S800. Okay, it is not a replacement for an S800. The S800 is a far superior model for somebody who's looking for started to get into FPV, and it is a fantastic wing. It is brilliant. The S800 is brilliant value for money. The only reason which I could see that somebody who would want to buy the AR Stealth Wing is purely as an upgrade to the S800 because the battery bay is much bigger. You can put a bigger battery in there. You can use different formats of FPV cameras in the nose. You can get iNav in it a lot more easily. And again, I've got mine here. Look up on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to go and grab it. If you're interested in the AR Stealth Wing, you are looking for an upgrade from an S800 with more battery, more compartment space in the wing itself, and you're prepared to make a few tweaks to the model, then it would be classed as a good upgrade. But they cannot be pitted against each other because the S800 wing wins hand down based upon price and just straightforward robustness, in short. So yeah, I hope that helps. Let's have a quick look on there. Banggood on multi-recopter. Sorry, just looking at the chat which is going on here at the moment. Full-size Sky Hunter. Right, sorry, we're chatting about models. Good lads. Right, so AR Stealth Wing. Horses for courses. It can only be classed as a potential upgrade if you have an S800 beforehand. Ugly as a pig. The Corsair. Now, I never bought this one, and the reason why I've never bought this is because I've had quite a few of the Rare Bear, or it's a Rare Bear series, or Fun Fighter. That's the name of the company. It's part of a Fun Fighter series. They are really, really cool models, but their packaging is so bad on them, ridiculously bad. And also it's kind of expensive for what is a 680mm model, which I don't know what that's in inches, but it's about that big. It's not very big at all. Absolutely bloody fantastic fun, I hasten to add. Not flown one of these. I do have 2 of the other models in that series, and they're all basically the same. They're called the Fun Fighter series, and they are definitely fun. So I need to pause for a moment. Excuse me. Howdy Joe, by the way. You're on a live chat. Happy days. Moving on. There's Mini Talon. Now you need to look out for the Mini Talon, especially those of you which are in Europe, because you can pick it up for what's that on there? $42, which is about 35 quid, including, or 12 pence. Add 12 cents to shipping. potentially one of the best value models out there for FPV because it's so cheap, 35 quid, and the model is absolutely bonkers big. It is just a really nice model to fly FPV. There's the only negative which I can give you about this, about the Mini Talon, is that it likes to fly fast. So when it comes into land, it comes in hot. That's the only negative which I can give you. I think it's when I first had mine originally, I didn't like it. I thought it was pretty ugly. And then as I started to build it and I laminated it, it kind of grew on me. And I'm a massive fan of the Mini Talon. 35 quid. It's an awful lot of foam for the model. And yeah, I've got 2 of them. There's a spare up there somewhere, which I'm going to turn into a dual tractor version. I think they're absolutely fantastic. If you'd like to know more about the Mini Talon, again, there's a link to look on the YouTube channel, because I've got a complete overview for 2017 on the Mini Talon. Right, moving on. No idea on that one. I have seen that one fly, only in video format by somebody I trust, and it does fly really well. But the issue is it's $73, so I will never own one. The Volantrex Sky Ranger, no, not really my kind of model. Won't ever own, in short. The Sonic model, Mini Sky Hunter, which is basically exactly the same as the Hobby King Mini Sky Hunter. I've actually got one of those here, and I've never got round to finishing it. And the reason why I've never got round to finishing it is because it's just going to be a complete ass to carry it to the flight line. Because you are going to, in fact, let's get this up a bigger picture and you'll see what I mean then, is that it's just a complete ass to carry. Because if you think you've got 4 or 5 other models with you, something like this, you've got to have the booms on the back. Or if you don't have the booms on the back, then you need to detach everything to get it to the flight line. And remember, we have to walk to our flight line, or a normal one, and it would just be classed as a pain in the ass. So, no, I've never got round to finishing it. And no, I can't recommend it because I think it's a pain in the ass to carry. So, yeah, sorry, bit mean on that one, I know. But apparently they do fly alright, in short. The Sonic model HD Wing. Now, I do have one of these on the way to me right now. This is also known, this is also the same mold, and there's a lot of mold sharing going on at the moment. That model is also known, it's also the same model on Hobby King, and it was also the Ready-Made RC Mako or something like that as well. They did their own branding on it too. Apparently it flies really well. The rudders on the fins at the back are a bit more of a joke. They can only really be used as an air brake on full deflection. That said, yeah, got one on the way. We'll see what it's like. In short, yeah, can't pass any real comment on it other than knowing that it's been a well-proven model for other people and other brand manufacturers, if that makes sense. So anyway, let's pick on the pace. Let's get onto the 3rd page. Let's have a quick look. Mini Skyter under construction now, giving it 1. Yay! Well done, Joe. Happy days. It makes it cheap. My Munster is Mini Track Killers. Yeah, Gordon's just put a note in there. The rudders are a suggestion. And again, I've just seen your comment about the Mini Talon. Oh, Chris, you're on. Hi, Chris. By the way, I've just seen I4 well, he's up there in the chat. Howdy, Chris, fella. Mini Talon. Absolutely love the Mini Talon. I can't. Well, let's not even go there on that one. I'll save that for a later video. Brilliant value for money. Right. Anyway, let's get moving on. Right. Toys, more. Don't balsa wood. Me and balsa don't mix. It's too fragile, in short. No, we've already spoken about that. No, the Ranger. Look that one up on Andrew Newton's channel on YouTube. I don't think he was that impressed, to be honest. Again, you have to see his channel confirm that. Micro Sky Munter, we've already spoken about. Again, I've just moved this page around awkwardly. No, won't ever own that. Looks... No. The Sonic model F1 Wing, I will get one of those when they actually finally come into stock. It's, by the way, there's a lot of BS being kicked around at the moment. This model is being labelled as a high-speed FPV EP racing wing. Now, let's be 100% clear on here. This is not a racing wing. If you had a racing wing, you would not have a bloody great big nose on the front. You would have pure FPV camera, and that is it. That is not a racing wing. So it's been labelled incorrectly. So they will get a shoe-in for that when we get around to reviewing it. That said, if it flies alright, happy days. It is kind of this like combo between like an S800 meets the AR Stealth wing, and hopefully I have all those three wings together at the same time so that we're able to do a cross comparison between these models. Again, we are stepping up in price here at $90. Like I said, I will get one when they come into stock. So yeah, Camp has comment on that one, but I do feel that it's been labelled incorrectly. It's not a racing wing at all. No, never owned one of those. In short, Ishin Fury we've spoken about. There's the plug and play kit. By the way, no, I don't suggest ever buying plug-and-play kits, especially when it comes to FPV, because the camera is always shite, the video transmitter is equally shite, and the motor and ESC combo are generally poor. There's a P51, that's also made out, that says it's EPO, so no idea on that one. The FW190, I have that model. No, that's the baby version. Okay, so I do have that model. That's the Fun Fighter series. Absolutely brilliant fun. Corky little model. Stupidly expensive. Can't recommend it to you because it costs $90 and it's only this big. In fact, while I'm here, who put in there? ET, get on your bike. Real planes are made of balsa. Real planes are made of foam. Because then you don't cry when you crash them. As you can see, the chat going on in the background. Right, that is the model which we're just talking about there. That is the Focke-Wulf 190. Really, really good fun. Unfortunately, they did make a bit of a fuck up because they did build it to scale, or mold it to scale. So hence, I've got quite a big chunk of lead in there. It flies great on. It will fly on 2S. It will fly on 3S, and it will fly on 4S as well. The only thing which I'd note is that this compared to, there's a Rare Bear, which I hopefully is going to turn up in a few moments' time, is that the Rare Bear of the Fun Fighter series is absolutely fantastic. It is I don't know why, but it is the fastest one of them all. And the Rare Bear, I would say, is probably about twice as fast as this one. And this one's no slouch at all. Yeah, so $90, can't recommend it to you because it is expensive. I bought it because it was cute and I like the Rare Bear, so yeah. You make your own informed decision on that one. I think it's pretty cool. The Fin Wing Traveller plane. I had one. It's found a new home. And I believe it's happy in its new home. That's all I'm saying on that one. I cannot personally recommend that you buy one. It suffers from terrible, and I mean terrible, adverse yaw issues. Oh, apparently there is a new version coming out with a T-tail on the top. So those models, I'm sure you've seen that with the T-tail, like on the Sky Walker models. Apparently there's a T-tail which helps with this. But I hate every single model which I've ever owned with a T-tail, with one exception, which is the mini Skywalker, but that's something else. T-tails are extremely fragile. I was offered one of those as a freebie for a review, and I declined because I couldn't. No, in short, it's found a new home. That's where it's staying. No idea on the Fin-Wing Penguin. Looks like a Bixler. Just looks like an expensive Bixler in short. Moving on, S800. I have one of these. That Edge 540. I actually own one of those, and they do fly fantastically well. And I found the reason why I stuffed it in a couple of weeks back is, in short, one of the control horns underneath. The glue had let go on the heat shrink tubing, so it was actually my fault. Was technically the wife, but it's my fault because I should have checked it. And it was moving on the control rod, so hence it would lock. It kind of explains every single issue which I had with it. Excuse me. Besides that, flew great, in short. I've just stuffed it, which is really, really frustrating because it's one of those models which I don't know if you're going to be able to see in the photographs. Scroll down. I wonder if we're going to be able to see it when it loads up. Yeah, there we go. This is the reason why I can't really recommend it to you. It's got a plywood nose frame underneath the nose. It's a very, very well engineered model. If you're into your 3D flying, you're an intermediate to advanced, it would be a good choice. You would really enjoy it. But just be aware, one, stuff, nose in, it's gone, it's disintegrated, that's the end of the model. And that's pretty much where I am with mine at the moment. So yeah, nice model, extremely well built, unbelievably light. In fact, that whole model is probably the same weight as this one, this little thing here with a battery in it, and it's like 5 times the size. Monstrous. But again, it's a 3D model. If you're interested in a model like that, you kind of need to know what you're doing. Yeah. The Tech 1 FPV wing, we've already heard, that's the same as the Ishin Fury and the Mini Race wing. Don't recommend them. Sorry, I personally, not the case I don't recommend them. I will personally never own one. And I don't want to be on a flight line where there is one flying. I don't like the format at all. Anyway, let's move on. No, in short, not at that price. And yeah, I've got nowhere. I don't have tarmac to land on. We have fields full of poo. Z61 is definitely worth of a special mention because this model is absolutely fantastic. In short, I absolutely love my FX61. It is a huge FPV flying wing. They fly absolutely brilliantly well. That was my first big, well, proper FPV model, should I say. And it is absolutely brilliant. I cannot rate that one anymore. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I will probably always be in possession of an FX61. I think they're just brilliant models. There is a lot of foam for your money. They fly fantastically well, to say the least. They are just really good models. The only negative, which I can say is so minor, it's only cosmetic, and that is that the black spray paint on the foam on the top lid peels off very easily if you scuff it and stuff like that. It's got white foam underneath. That's the only negative which I can give you. It's such a silly point. I just think they're just fantastic value for money. I will always be in possession of an FX61. Brilliant. Again, look up on some of my older videos for those. Moving on, again, in the interest of time, we've already seen the S800. Volantis Ranger, no. In short, no. I will not be paying $100 for a Mini Edge. So that's $560. So that has got a smaller wingspan than that. And I will not be paying $100 for that ever in a month of Sundays. The EPP Eagle, we've already spoken about. Rare Bear, absolute brilliant model. Now, this is one of those odd models which, on one hand, I cannot tell you to buy, or not suggest to you that you can go and buy it, at least from Banggood anyway, because the packaging is just so bollocks on it. There's no other words for it. And no apologies for swearing, because it is that bad. As that's the worst thing which we want, I know for myself and for you as well, for a model to turn up and for it to be smashed up. The packaging is wholly inadequate on the Rare Bear. But on the flip side, it is batshit crazy fast. If you want to see how much fun a Rare Bear is, look it up on my YouTube channel. And they're absolutely brilliant fun, absolutely corking, crazy fast on 3S and even insane fast on 4S. Absolute brilliant fun. Really have enjoyed mine, and it is so quiet as well. And brilliant fun if you stick a little FPV camera, one of the little all-in-one cameras on top, the TX03 cameras, stick that on the top. Brilliant fun, to say the least. Now, let's quickly look on there, what's going on in the chat as well. Simon, good morning as well. FX61, absolutely loved it, but the FX79 stole my heart. Excuse me. It's funny that Simon mentions that. So the FX61, which we were just chatting about, which was up here, so that flying wing just there, that is huge. It is a huge wing, but there is a bigger one called the FX79, which I'm sure we'll get to in a few moments' time. And the Buffalo, I just don't like the look of the Buffalo, if I'm honest, and also it is absolutely ridiculously huge. So while I own a Z84, two Z84s, a C1 Chaser and an FX61, I will never own an FX79. But that said, Simon, I know so many people which have had a 79 and have really enjoyed it, and you're one of those people, so that's classed as happy days. It is just a monstrous wing. to say the least. And remember, any of you, if you've got comments about any of these models which we're talking about, please either let us know in the live chat so you can share with other people, like James is saying there. I'm waiting for a Sidewinder. Yes, aren't we all? Hobby King have missed the season, so maybe next year now, because it would be like model suicide for them to release it at this time of the year when the main season is over and done with. Anyway, do share your comments, whether it is in the live chat or in the comment section underneath the video. Moving on, where were we? Rare Bear, absolutely brilliant. Nano Talon. Don't mention the penguin. I've got 2 of these, and I really, really like my Nano Talon. And I genuinely mean that. I really like my Nano Talon. I hate plug-and-play kits, but actually I think they've got it right, at least with the motor. The motor on the back is, what was it, an 1870 kV, so a lower kV with a little 60-30 prop on it. Cruises around between 2 to 3 amps. Absolutely brilliant. 30 minutes flight time, potentially every time you fly it. Wholly enjoyable. I've got iNav in mine. I've got an L9R in mine as well. Really, really do like it. I've bought a second, which has already been arrived. It's up there in a box. Because basically I'd be so pissed off if I stuffed in my first one, my original one. If I broke my first one, I would be really annoyed with myself. And I would want, and again, you can't get spares at the moment, so I bought a whole new model. That's how much I like it. I do like my Nano Talon. I also like it is because it's very small and compact. But I'll tell you what, I'll go and grab it because it's only right here because we took it to the flight line yesterday. It's small, it's compact. I can walk over to the fields not far from here and I can flow it with minimal equipment. And yeah, the wings snap off. My wings are taped on at the moment. The wings take off, the rear fins snap off. The build on it is dead simple. It is just a great little model. I am a big fan of the Nano Talon, to say the least. But the elephant in the room is that it costs $106. I bought mine for $99. I was the first one to put an order in it, and I think I paid $106 or something for the second one. It's too expensive. And again, just face it, even right now with this price point, is that even if they just did a kit version without the motor and without the servos in it, you would only take like $10–20 off the top price at the tops, like as a maximum off the total sell price, because it's now got 3 servos in it and a motor on the back and an ESC. So $20–30 off the top price, it would still be a premium model at $70. So hopefully the Nano Talon does come down in price over time. All I can say is that I've really enjoyed mine, and I've bought a second because I would be that pissed off with myself if I broke my first one. So I do like the penguin, to say the least. And I will get a laminating video out at some point in time because we need to laminate up the wings on the Nano Talon for a later project which I'm working on. So Chris, if you're still watching this, iForce 2D, I will do a laminating video very, very shortly because I've got a couple of models here which now need to get laminated. So I'll get that done as soon as I can. So if you own a Nano Talon, do share your opinions on it. Maybe you don't own a Nano Talon because you class it as being too expensive. Do share with everybody else what your feelings are on that model. ET, no, there isn't spares available yet, and $160 WTF, what the fuck? Yeah, I agree with you. It's an expensive one, but I really do like it. I can't say anything more than that, and I've bought a second one because I like it that much. I think it is a really nice model. For me, it's because of the size and the capabilities in it. If it does 30 minutes in the sky with a 1600 4S, imagine what it does with a 2000 or maybe a 3500 Lion pack in it. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And you don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about 18650 batteries to be used in models. So yeah, absolutely crazy potential in it. So I do like the Nano Talon. Moving on. Yes, too expensive. I agree with you, Brooks. That is the elephant in the room when it comes to the Nano Talon. It is definitely too expensive, to say the least. Craig, yeah, my Nano Talon has got a full vector in it. So, Craig, I think you might have seen you're in the Facebook group. You've got your, what should we call it, your vector tucked up and, I presume, Velcroed the wrong way up underneath the, in the bottom fuse section. For me, I've got the, again, I can't show you in here. Again, if you want to know more about this one, and I do have a flight control board set up underneath that nose. And again, look on the YouTube channel for that one. So yeah, good lad on getting a full-size vector in it. That's nuts. That's nuts. And again, James, yeah, putting this into perspective, the FlyingWings, again, this isn't on that list. And if you want to see it, more details on it, I will just go and grab it because it's half been built. It's the FlyingWings.co.uk Genesis. Again, bought out my own money. There, that model compared to the Nano Talon, for example, it was only $35. Just to put 35 quid, sorry, $45, just to put things into perspective. So yeah, this is why we're doing this video, so that we can share thoughts and views on different models, because some of you may only have 35 quid, which the Genesis wing would be a fantastic choice for you. In short, again, assuming you're in the UK and the postage is not going to be too expensive. But on a serious point, we are spoiled as hobbyists and RC enthusiasts on the models which are out there. So, which is a good place for us to be in. Again, it kind of makes the point of us being able to do a video like this. We're able to cover a wide range of models, and some of you will feel that Nano Talon is too expensive. Me, I think it is also too expensive, but I'm now in possession of two of them, and I do really, really enjoy the one which I've got. Excuse me. Yeah, it's Tipper. Yeah, and Stella, that's also a really good point on there. For the same price as one of these, okay, you could have two, what should we call it, full size, or not say full size, two mini Talons instead for the same kind of money, at least, or two and a bit, because I think they're $41 and that's 100, so you get two and a bit mini Talons, which are fantastic models, for the price of one Nano Talon. So Nano Talon is definitely one of those models which I would say look out for the price to come down in. Again, if you think about the S800, that when that first came out, that was like $80, $90, something like that, and now it's down at $45, cheapest ones, so it will come down over time. Anyway, moving on. No, not going to buy the Ranger, don't like the style of it, to be perfectly honest. The RC Lander, now that model has come out with I've seen it coloured up and styled up for at least 3 other times as well. Basically, it's I class it as a novelty. I will never own one. Skywing, no, it's too expensive. Balsa, too much wood. The Orbit Wing, now that's really interesting because Sir Andrew Newton's just done a video on it this morning. I've got it down here. It is an extremely lightweight wing, very, very simple to build. Comes with a stabilizer built in. Again, I will get the maiden video out and my final thoughts on that wing out as soon as I can. Again, it's just unfortunately overpriced for what it is. It will, but on the flip side, it will compress down to a very small pack, to say the least. It's just perhaps a little bit fragile, and I'll try and give like a full rounded review once we get some flight footage out with that one as well. So James, if you're off, happy days. See you shortly, so you can see what's going on in the chat above my head. Dynam Hawk, no, we are getting into expensive models now. Okay, and there's only one model which I'm going to perhaps point out in a few moments' time. I'm just going to quickly, and we're getting to the end now, we're going to quickly just go across these models. No. I would absolutely love a full-size Sky Hunter. However, it has exactly the same issues of what a mini Sky Hunter has as well, which is those great big booms on the back. Absolute pain in the ass to either set up on the flight line or to have just one great big model to try and carry around with you to get to the flight line. So yeah, pain in the rear. We'll never own a full-size Talon, just too big. In short, that again, I know it's too big because when we get to a model in a moment, we'll get to that. I've got no experience of any of those. The Phoenix Evolution, Yeah, I think Andrew Newton did a similar one. I've got a Phoenix 2000 from Hobby King. Absolutely fantastic model. I wish I flew it more. I wish I would fly it more, but I just don't. It does fly really, really well. That's a similar model. So again, I definitely didn't pay $136. I think I paid about 50 quid for my Phoenix 2000. So yes, that is grossly overpriced. The ASW 28 is an absolutely huge model. To say the least. I have seen one fly, and it's just a big fat glider which isn't particularly aerobatic, and I'll never own one. FX79. We were chatting about this wing earlier. It's absolutely monstrous. It is a little bit dear at the moment. These have been on offer for $100. This wing is absolutely monstrous. The size of the battery bay in the middle is cavernous, to say the least. It is. I'm trying to scroll down so we can get. No, they've got no photos in there. You could fit your entire lunch or a 3-course meal in the size of the fuselage. It is just absolutely bonkers in its size. Again, you can see Andrew Newton's done videos on this one before. Absolutely bonkers. Brilliant as an FPV platform because you can ram so much battery in it. It's unreal. One thing which I would note, one mod you would definitely want to do is that you can just about see on the back of here is that you will want to put extra servos in for the flaps just to get the model down at the end of the flight. And again, that was a tip which came from Andrew. And you may have seen the big blue D also on the YouTube channel, which was actually just the wingtips with a new fuselage in it as well. So 79, personally will never own one. I know many people who sort of own them. I think we had it up in the chat here earlier. Yeah, the people who've got them absolutely love them. For me, it's just too big. It's 79 inches of wingspan. It's absolutely massive. It's too big because scrolling down, there's by the way, the new version of the FX61 is exactly the same as the original version. I don't know why they've got two prices of it. I'm here just scrolling through because I can't pass comment on any of these models other than the XUAV Clouds, which is the largest wingspan model which I have at 1.8 meters. It was also one of the most, the second most expensive model which I ever bought. The Mini Track was the most expensive one which I purchased. The XUAV Clouds, really do like mine one. I also need to be 100% clear with you. I did pay full price for it, but it turned up damaged, and I did use some points at the time, and I think in total I only paid about $130 for that model in the end. Something like that. At $130, it was definitely well worth the money. $190, bit touch and go to be honest. That said, it is a 1.8 meter wingspan. You can fit at least 4 5200 4S packs in that fuselage. It is a cavern. It's on the same scale as the FX79. That said, it is twin motors on the front. Again, I went full hog and I bought the Sunny Sky, the 980 KVs. They were $28 each. Anyway, my point being, it is just a nice model. In short, the XUV Clouds. It was also gave me the scariest, and I mean the scariest maiden I have ever had was with that one, because I had the elevator inverted in the Eagle Tree Vector, and it went down and I almost stuffed it. I think I was about 14 hours into the build because I also laminated it as well, yeah, I almost stuffed it. Would have not been a good day. I've gone on to fly it many times since. It's still here. It's one of those models which will always stay in the hangar and will get flown whenever I can. Setup time on the flight line is about 5 minutes, mainly because you've got to just try and get those two bastard screws through the wings and do the nuts up on the bottom. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's just 2 bolts. You just do one wing, you do the other wing. It just takes a couple of minutes, and I've done mine so the wings are detachable and I can carry the wings separately, and then you just feed the wires through. Very simple. And I did also put plywood inner on mine as well. And again, if you'd like to know more about the XUAV Clouds, look it up on my YouTube channel because excuse me, it has. I have enjoyed it, and like I said, it's going to be one of those models which I've had here for a long period of time. Now, I didn't need to blow my nose, so I'm going to hit mute. Excuse me for that. Like I said, I'm running with a cold at the moment, and I'm deaf as a post. And this morning I was feeling particularly chirpy, so I've taken advantage of that to do a live video, trying to set me up because I need to go back and do some proper work next week. Because I've just basically felt sorry for myself for the past week because I've been so ill, to say the least. So, XUAV Cloud. Someone just made a point here in the chat. Is that a full-size Talon only costs $20 more? I think that was. Compared to the Talon. I can't remember. I don't know which way you're comparing that to. Let's have a look. I like the Clouds, but the Nimbus 1800 has my attention. Derek, I agree with you, but the Nimbus is set up for a Pacific flight controller, and I just felt it was set up for a different purpose or bespoke kit, which you can't get. For me, if I had unlimited funds, and I had the choice between the Clouds and the Nimbus, I would probably still go back for the Clouds. I prefer the Clouds more. To be brutally honest, I've got one here. I've flown it. I know how well it flies. The negative for the Clouds, which I don't know you would get with the Nimbus, is the bloody launch. The fuselage is too big. You have to do a two-handed launch. You have to like try and grip on the fuselage here, and then grab the back tail section, and you just shove it to make it launch. It is a little bit tricky to launch, I'll give you that, but then it is a bloody great big model, and like I said, you can get at least four 250 4S packs lead flat down in the fuselage, and of course you could double that up on there, so you could be flying around with 20,000 milliamperes plus in that model. So I do like my Clouds. I'm sticking with my Clouds. We'll never own the Nimbus. That's at my pain threshold for an RC model. And I'm glad I own one, in short. So, yeah. Derek, if you've got the choice between the two, I don't think you'll be disappointed with either, to be brutally honest. You mentioned to leap up with the Drac. Now, we were chatting about that in the Facebook group this morning. And we're not talking about Banggood models anymore. The full-size Drac is just massive. See the chat which is going on in the Facebook group. There's a link to the Facebook group in the video description, because we were comparing the full-size Drac to the Hardcore 44 to the Mini Drac, and we were looking at the positives and negatives of each of them. So do have a look on the Facebook group for that, and you can see the chats which is going on in there as well. Right, Jim, you're off to bed. Don't panic. We are off ourselves. So to quickly recap, we have been here chatting for, I don't know however long, an hour and a half. That was a lot of models for us to go through, and I sincerely hope that you have been and found this helpful for you and your future buying decisions, in short, because we are presented with a whole raft of different models at a whole raft of different price points. We can go from $140 down to, remember that little chuck glider we were talking about right back at the beginning, $7. There are models out there to fit all experience levels and basically all different parts of this hobby. Maybe you want the chuck glider, and because you don't have big funds, but you're willing to excuse me, convert that model into either a line of sight model or even into an FPV model. You can do that. This is one of the coolest things about this hobby. There's such a breadth of different models out there. We are spoiled. And that brings me back to my point, which is that I sincerely hope that you found this live session again, right now we've just focused on Banggood, on the whole variety of different models which are out there. A shameless plug is that the link in the video description underneath this video, if you do decide to go on and purchase a model from Banggood, you can help support this channel. If you click the link in the video description underneath this video on YouTube, it will take you across to the Banggood website. It will take you back to the first page where we started, where all these models are sorted by price. And if you then go on to purchase, it's an affiliate link, which does mean that you will be supporting this channel, something which I'd like to be 100% clear about to you. And if you'd like to know more about affiliate marketing, I also did a video on that on my YouTube channel, because I do feel that in some ways we are being lied to on YouTube. Not really with RC models per se, it's more in quadcopters and things like that, and I've got a dedicated video on that, which will make you a more informed viewer for when it comes to YouTube. And I've just gone completely off topic. So yeah, we started at $7 and we worked our way up to, what was it, $190. Banggood, they have a large breadth of models. That's why it was an obvious choice for me to start showing you, or to do a video like this. We will do exactly the same for Hobby King as well. I've been through a whole collection of their models too. Literally, I've only been flying for about 14, 15 months now, something like that. It was July a year ago, and I've flown way over 100 models. I've probably crashed over 100 models as well, if I'm being brutally honest. And it's only really been through the community of like chatting to people like you. I've been able to find out what's good, find out what's bad, and also be able to identify what's good and what's bad. And when new models come out, we buy them out. Well, I buy them out of my own money. We find out if they're good or if they're bad. And when someone stands there and says, "This was the best wing ever," bullshit. Little radars must go off in the back of your head. No, it's gone off in the back of my head. And sometimes models like that are not the best wings ever. We may have the odd best model from time to time. I think I've done one video on that, which was the Hornet FPV wing, a model which I've had for like 8 months or something like that. It is perfect model for the summer on one of these super calm days, brilliant for darting in and out of trees. That I still stand by my words on that one. But do look out for, as a brand new model comes out, is it really that good? How does it compare to another one? Don't know. This is why we buy it, and then we find out how good they really are. So on that note, I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody who has been enjoying me for this live session. It's time for me to wrap up. If you have any comments or questions about any of the models which we have been covered in this live session, please just ask in the comments section underneath this video. If you own one of the models or several of the models which we've been covered, please share your opinions with others in the comments section, because that helps fellow pilots like me and you. Okay, so maybe there was a model which I said I'll never own, and you actually own it, or maybe you owned some of those more expensive models up in the plus $140 mark and beyond. Share your opinions about those, because I would love to hear about those myself. And on that note, it really is time for me to wrap up, and I can only say thank you for taking the time to watch this live episode, and I shall see you again shortly. And on that note, from myself, Matt, where is it? Cheerios. Sorry, the kids have brought that in the office a couple of days ago. And that is time for me to go. I really am going now. Cheerios. Bye-byes.